Good morning, guys. Say good morning, folks. It's your bro, Richie Rich here. Today's video is now five, part five on the Pontiac Firebird. I think so. Uh, so excuse me, part five on the Pontiac Firebird. And today's video, uh, I'll be talking to you about the next part, which is the Firebird Trans Am. So this is gonna be pretty exciting. So before I start, make sure you guys all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all so you literally don't make brand new uploads. Alright, so without any further ado, let's begin. So the Firebird Trans Am. Here we go. So the Trans Am's a specialty pack for the Firebird, typically upgrading handling suspension handling suspension and horsepower. So handling suspension and horsepower. So handling suspension and horsepower, as well as minor appearance mods, such as exclusive hoods, wings like spoilers, fog lights, fog lights and wheels, Introduced for 1969, the end of the 60s, the year the 69 Camaro SS was released. The one with the 396 6.5 liter V8. So introduced for 1969, the end of the 60s, before the start of the very early 1970s. It continued throughout the Firebird's production run. Despite its name, the Trans Am wasn't initially used in the Trans Am series, apparently, as its smallest V8 exceeded the SCCA's, so Sports Car Club of America's 5 liter displacement unit. The Firebird Trans Am was selected as the official pace car for the 1979 Daytona 500, 1980 Indy 500, and again for the 1981 Daytona 500. The Trans Am GTA, which stands for Gran Turismo Americano, was an options pack available on the Firebird Trans Am, which added gold 16-inch diamond spoke alloy wheels, a monochromatic paint scheme, and special cloison. I can't pronounce that, but it's spelled CLOIS. So cloison. I can't pronounce it, but it's spelled CLOI. So CLOISONNE with a little comma or dash on the top. GTA badges. The GTA, along with the Formula model, that was intended to fill the gap between both the base model Firebird, Firebird and base model Firebird and mid-level Trans Am. So mid-level Trans Am was the brainchild of of Lou Vassell, Wassel, former former Pontiac. He was a former Pontiac marketing manager. It was intended to be the ultimate um, Trans Am, and was the most expensive Firebird available. The GTA equipment pack, the GTA equipment pack officially went on sale in 1987 and avoided a gas guzzler tax. Um, thanks to its lightweight PW thanks to its lightweight PW 16 inch gold crosslace wheels. The high performance W 60 WS6 suspension packs also retuned to offer a more compliant ride while still maintaining tight handling characteristics. Tight handling characteristics. Motor choices consisted of a 5.7 liter 350 um 350 L98 uh TPI V8 made it to GM's corporate 4-speed or 5-speed, I think, 700 R4 automatic, or the 5-liter 305. Well, it says 310, but presumably that would be like 5.1 liters, 5.05. I'm not so sure. So 5-liter 310 TPI V8. A 5-speed manual is available, but was made it to the 5-liter only, so to the 5.0 only. The GTA trim levels available from 1987 through the through the through the 1992. So the GTA trim level was available from 1987 1987 through the 1992 model year. For 1989, the end of the 1980s, so the end of the 80s, the 20th anniversary turbo Trans Am project, originally conceived by Bill Owen, so a guy named Bill Owen of Pontiac. So Pontiac was outsourced to PAS Incorporated, an engineering firm led by Jeff Beitzel. So his last name is spelled Beitz or Zel. Him and his team did most of the TTA development work, the 3.8 liter turbo V6s were built by PAS, and they're so built by PAS at their 40,000 square foot city of industry plant in California. From there, they went to GM's plant in Van Nuys, San Fernando Valley, California. Uh, I don't think it's San Fernando Valley. So, so from there they went to the GM's plant in Van Nuys, California. So Van Nuys, California, to be installed into GTA's on the F body assembly line. The cars were then shipped back to PAS for final assembly test for final assembly testing and quality control. Incidentally the GTA chassis um were selected at random. Thus there's no correlation between both the VIN and the PS production sequence number, or PSN production sequence number. The initial number of cars to be produced ranged from between five 500 to 2,500 until GM finally settled on, like, in the middle, dead on straight at 1,500. In all, a total of 15. In all, a total of 1,500. In all, a total of 1,500. 1,555. So 1,555 turbo transams were manufactured. One of these served as the 1989 Indy 500 as the 1989 Indy 500 pace car. So again, the end of the 80s, before the start of the very early 1990s, the 02 model year, so the 2002 model year, so 2002 WS6 Trans Am produced, so at 5,200 RPM for power and 4,000 for torque, 310 horsepower, 310 horsepower, and 340 pound-feet, 461 newton meters of torque. So 340 pound-feet, 461 newton meters. So 340 pound-feet. Excuse me. 461 newton meters of torque. Out of its 5.7 liter 350 LS1 V8 motor. Speaking of motors, we're on the next part. So starting off with the first one is the Gen 1 for 1969. So there's two versions of the there's two versions of the 6.6 liter 400 V8. The first one is the Pontiac Ram Air 400. It's a Pontiac Ram Air 400, which made 335 horsepower, and the second version of that motor is and the second version of that V8 is the Pontiac Ram Air 4, which made 345 horsepower, so 10 more than the Ram Air 400, but not too bad. So that's for the Gen 1. Now we got the Gen 2 motors, which, holy hell, there's so much of this. From 1970 all the way up until 1981. So starting out with the first one is 1970. So it had a 6.6 liter 400 Pontiac. So for 1970 we got three different versions. of the same motor, the 6.6 liter 400 V8. Starting off with the first one is the Pontiac Ram Air 400, which made 345 horsepower. Then we got the second version. Which is the Pontiac Ram Air 4 V8, which made 370 horsepower. Then we got the Pontiac Ram Air 5, which then would make about 375 horsepower. It doesn't really say, but oh well. Then we got 1971 and 1972. For some of these, they don't really say the horsepower numbers, but I got no idea. It's usually 400 horsepower. Depends on the V8 it has from the different years. So for 1970, they have three different versions of the 6.6 liter 400 V8. The first one is the Pontiac Ram Air 400, which made 345 horsepower, which is pretty good. So pretty good. Then the second version was the Pontiac Ram Air 4, which made 370 horsepower, and the third version, so the second version was the Pontiac Ram Air 4, which made 370 horsepower. Then we got the third version, which is the Pontiac Ram Air 5. Again, I don't even know how much horsepower it make, but well. Then we got 1971 and 72, which from those 2 years have the 7.5 liter, the 455, a 7 which they have a 7.5 liter, so 7.5 liter. So it has the biggest V8 out of all of these motors, a 7.5 liter 455 Pontiac high output V8. So for both 1971 and 1972. Then we got from 1973 the same exact motors. So we got standard and the Super Duty V8s. Then we got from 1974 all the way up. We got from 1974 all the way up until 1978. They have the the first one is a 6.6 liter 400 Pontiac L78 V8. Then we got the different versions of the 7.5 liter 455 Pontiac V8. So we got the standard one, we got the the SD version, we got the 455 high output, and the standard 455 as well. Then we got the standard 455 as well. So we got 6.6 liter 400 Pontiac L78. Then we got 4 versions of the 7.5 liter 455. So we got standard 455 high output and a standard 455. Then we got the SD version. That was from 1974 to 1978. Now we got 1979 all the way up until 1980 and then 1981. So the first one we got is the 4.9 liter 301, so 4.9 liter 301 V8. So 4.9 liter 301 Pontiac V8. Then we got a 6.6 liter excuse me, 403 Oldsmobile V8. So Oldsmobile V8. Then we got 2 versions of the 5 liter 305 Chevy V8. We got the standard one and we got the second version with only a 4-speed. Presumably that's a manual or automatic. It doesn't really say, but it does say it's a 4-speed. Then we got 2 versions of the same goes for the 6.6 liter 400 Pontiac 6.6 liter 400 Pontiac Pontiac W72 V8. So we got standard, and we got the second one with the 4-speed manual only. Then we got the same 4.9 liter, um, 30 the same 4.9 liter, 301, so 4.9 liter, 301 Pontiac V8. So we got the same 4.9 liter, 301 Pontiac V8, but this time it's known as the Pontiac. It's known as the 4.9 liter 301 Pontiac Turbo V8. So we got two versions of that one, naturally aspirated and then the turbocharged V8, which is the last one for that one. So we got notes. This time we got note A. Oops. So, so there are no known. Sorry, I'm talking a bit too tired. Well, I don't feel tired, but I am getting there. So I'm starting to get a little bit tired, but not. But so we got a couple notes. There are no known 1970 Trans Ams with the Ram Air 5. No complete motors were either ever sold or shipped to dealers, but the parts needed to build one could be ordered over the counter. These cars came with the 7.5 liter, or 7.4 liter almost, 455 high output, or HO, which is short for high output, decal on the SHS shaker hood scoop, but weren't anywhere near the same V8 as the high outputs from 1971 to 1972. They were standard production motors lifted from Pontiac's station wagon line and transplanted straight into the TA, rated at 200 horsepower. Pontiac 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 did this to try to boost sales, and the motors only available with a 4-speed manual. A total of 857, round up 860 were built. 860 were built as it was. 860 were built as it was a mid-year. 860 were built as it was a mid-year edition. The only difference between this motor and the previous 1975 motors, the high output was removed. So the HO was removed from the shaker hood scoop. So the HO was removed from the shaker hood scoop, and simply said 450 455. It came with a 4-speed manual. A total of 7,099, well, 7,100 if you round up in total, were built during this year's full production run. These motors were actually 1978s. That were stockpiled for 1979. Pontiac ceased production of the 6.6 liter 400 V8 in 1978. The last episode at the very least we got is the Gen 3, and holy crap, there's at least 10 types. This excuse me, so it's from 1982 to 1992. Okay, so from 1982 to 1987, it's got the 5 liter 305 4-barrel V8. So from 1982, we got the 5 liter. So for 1982, we got the 5 liter 305 crossfire injection, crossfire injected V8 motor, first year for fuel injection in the Trans Am. Then for 1983, we got the same 5 liter V8. So pretty much the same as the 1982 version of 5-liter 305 Crossfire injected V8. Then we got another 5-liter V8, but this one's a high output 4-barrel V8, only 662, only 662, only 662 were made, all with 5-speed manuals. So then 1982 and 83, then we got 1984, also with a 5-liter 305 V8, but this one's a 4-barrel high output V8. Only 1500 anniversary edition models were made. 500 of them were 5-speed manuals. The rest of the 1,000 were like automatics. And we got 1985. So it was equipped. So from 1985 all the way up to 1992. So for 1985, it was equipped. So from 1985 to 1992, it was equipped with a 5-liter, with the 5-liter 305 tuned port injected V8 motor. So for 1985, it was equipped with a 5-liter, with a 5-liter 305 4-barrel high output. So with a 5-liter 305 4-barrel high output V8. It was for the 5-speed manual only, or automatic, possibly 5-speed manual. Pretty cool. Then we got the same exact motor, 5-liter 305 4-barrel V8 high output, 5-speed. Total of 69 were built. Closest, well, 70 were built, almost if you round up. So that was for 1985, around up to 1986 to 1987. So, now we got up to 1988 to 1992. So, from those 5 years, they had the 5-liter, the same exact 5-liter 305 V8, but this time, instead of it being tuned port injected, it was now throttle body injected this time. So we got both the throttle body and tuned port injected V8s. So 5-liter 305 V8s. So from 1988 to 1992. Then we got the 5.7 liter 350. So 5.7 liter 350 tuned port injected V8. Then we got its iconic motor, which this one was just insane at its time. When this one was one of the most, and for this one it was like highly tunable, a 3.8 liter turbo Buick V6. All right, so next up is the post Pontiac. is the post Pontiac Trans Am. In 2012, GM signed a licensing detail with TID Trans Am Depot to use Trans Am Depot to use both the Trans Am name and Pontiac logos in custom coach built versions of the new Trans Am. Under this agreement, Trans Am Depot takes brand new model Camaros, strips them down to their basic components, and rebuilds what looks like a new Trans Am. They make these into the designs of the 6T 9 version Trans Am, 69 Go. So 6 and the letter T and the 9 version Trans Am, the 69 Goat, which is a GTO, 77, so number 7 and then letter T and then number 7 again, Trans Am, and the limited edition Hearst Trans Am, so Hearst version of the Trans Am on March 26th, um 2017 at the New York International Auto Show, or NIAS. So so New so New York International Auto Show. The the Bandit edition Trans Am, which was in the classic 70s 80s films or franchise Smokey and the Bandit. So the Bandit edition Trans Am. So on March 26th, 2017, at the New York International Auto Show, the Bandit edition Trans Am was introduced, built by Trans Am Depot. Only 77 will be produced, each signed by Burt Reynolds. May rest in peace. Burt Reynolds powertrains a 7.5 liter 455 direct injection version of the current Gen 5 LT1 V8 motor, equipped with a 2.3 liter Magnuson supercharger. So equipped with a 2.3 liter Magnuson with a 2.3 liter Magnuson supercharger. So 2.3 liter Magnuson supercharger with a boost of 14 psi, developing a massive 1,000 horsepower and 1,046 pound-feet, 14, 1,400, 1,418 newtons of torque. It's a race car technically. And next up, the next version we got is the Burt Reynolds's. Is the Burt Reynolds's collection of Firebirds. On April 14th, 2018, at the Barrett Jackson collector car auction in Palm Beach, Florida, just 5 months before his death, before his passing, actor Burt Reynolds. So Burt Reynolds, who played the Bandit in the Smokey and the Bandit franchise. So actor Burt Reynolds, God rest his soul, may rest in peace. So actor Burt Reynolds presided over the sale of 3 Firebird Trans Ams from his personal collection, sold via Bandit Movie Cars of Florida. So Bandit Movie Cars of Florida. The custodian of the Burt Reynolds, the custodian of the Burt Reynolds collection. He was also an avid Firebird collector. After filming both the Smokey and the Bandit movie series. And Hooper